Discuss about types of inputs in the Python. When I say types of inputs, it includes single input and multiple inputs and single line input and the matrix input. First of all, I am going to discuss about the single input, in which we are gonna initialize some variable to which we are assigning a input, in which we are gonna initialize some of the statement like enter the number or enter the string. After that we gonna print that particular variable. Here whatever input you give, like you give phi or alphanumeric or character, whatever you give, it is taken as a string rather than the particular number. Like here if I give phi is actually number, but it was considered as a string in this particular input, because this input always considers whatever input it is taking, it is always a string. Like if I say here type of f and I just run this particular program, well, it is asking for the input. Like if I say phi, well, it has to print the type of phi as a number, but it is gonna print it as a string, like you have the class string, because whatever input it will take, like this particular input function will take, it is always in the format of string. Therefore, to convert that particular string into a number, you need to add the int, and you just have to rerun this particular program. In this case, it is gonna change that particular input whatever we are giving into the int. For example, if I print phi here, it is gonna print it as a class int, and this is how we gonna take the inputs in string and in the integer formats. After this, I am going to discuss about the multi-line inputs. To take multi-line inputs, we gonna use the loops. First of all, I am going to use the for loop for I in range of 5, because I want 5 inputs from the user, and I'm gonna create a array. Like here we have the array, and here I'm going to create a variable to which I'm going to assign some input. I want it to be integer, therefore I have mentioned that it must be int input. After that, I'm going to push that particular input into this particular array A, and after that I'm going to print the A, and I just run this particular program. As you can have a look at into here, it is asking for the input. Here I say 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. As you can have a look at here, we have 5 inputs. Now this process is terminated, and it is gonna print that particular array A. And here it is a multi-line input. As you can have a look at here, after adding the first element, we took a line break and added the second. After the second, we have added third. After that, we have added the fourth. After that, we have added the 5. Actually, we are adding a new line break, and these types of inputs are termed as the multi-line inputs. And I just enter this. As you can have a look at here, the process is terminated and it has successfully created a new array. And these types of input are termed as the multi-line inputs. After this, we have the single line input. In the single line input, we have two types: single line input without range and single line input with range. First of all, I am going to discuss about the single line input without range. To create such, you have to have a variable to which you gonna add the list, because whatever input you are getting must be in the format of list. And after that, we gonna add the map, means whatever input the user is adding is created in a format of map. Like you have added the first element, that is added into the array n using the map, and I want my particular array must be of integer types, therefore I added the int. After that, I am going to add the input, and to this input I am going to add the split. In the split, I am going to add this particular thing. Like whenever we add a new element, after that element, if we give some space and add the second element, in such cases the first element is considered as the first element of this particular n array, and the second element after which we have added is considered as second element. And I just run this particular program. As I can have a look at here, it is gonna ask us for the input. Now it is asking us for the input. I just say 1, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. As you're gonna have a look at here, after adding every element I given some space, and this space is considered as a barrier between the first element and the second element. Whenever I add line break into this type of single inputs, single line input, it is gonna terminate that particular process and it is going to create a new array. Actually I have missed here, I have missed to add I mean missed to print this particular n. I'm going to do that. As you can have a look at here, I have printed this particular array n, and whenever I terminate this particular process, like after adding 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 7, and I just take a line break, it is gonna create a array like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 using this particular method. And this is a single line input with without any range. Here we haven't mentioned any range, like I want 5 inputs or 6 inputs. In such cases we have a different method. Well, after this I am going to discuss about the single line input with a range. Like as we mentioned the range in the multi-line input, here we gonna initialize the range. To do that, first of all you need to have a array. Everything must be set up in an array, and after that you need to specify what kind of input you want, like whether it is an integer, whether it's a string. After that you have to have a for loop for n in. After that you have to add input, and in input dot split you need to add a split in which you have to mention a space. A space must be a difference between the first element and the second element or the third element. After that you need to add the range, like I want 4 elements must be suited in this particular array, therefore I have added 4 here. And after this I just have to run this particular program, save and run, and it is gonna take the inputs like here. Like here it is taking the range, like I want 1 2 3 4, and I just say 1 2 3 4. If I just rerun this particular program and I add the 5 elements into it, it is gonna give us a value error, like here 1 2 3 4 5, and I just say actually like from 0 to 4 there are 5 elements, therefore it has shown us no error. But on the top of that, if I start adding 6 elements like 1 2 3 4 5 6, I have added totally 6 elements, but its intake is actually 5. In such cases it is gonna give us a value error, like exception has occurred value error, because we have initialized range to 5 but it is taking the 6 elements, therefore it is gonna give us error. And this is how we gonna take the single line input with range. After this I am going to discuss about the matrix input. To take any matrix input you need to have an array, like I am going to stop this particular operation. You need to have an array. After that you need to have 2 for loops. One for loop is for I in range of 4, like it is a kind of a row, and for j in range of 4, and it is a kind of column. And here I'm gonna say m equal to a blank, and here I'm gonna take some input like int input, and here we have successfully added the int input. After this I'm going to add this to m append of d, and after completion of this particular j operation, like the column operation, I am going to push this particular m into this a, and I am gonna save it. And to print that I just print a, and I just stop this operation and run this particular operation. And as you can have a look at here, we have 4 columns and 4 rows, therefore we totally have 16 elements, and we need to add 16 elements here, therefore I just start that 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. As you can have a look at here, we have successfully created a matrix that contains 16 elements with 4 columns and the 4 rows. Here we have successfully created that, and this is how we are going to create that particular matrix, and this is all about the inputs. You have a different representation for the different types of a print statement. For example, here I will go with a string. For example, when I say n equal to some name like alone, and then after that I want to print that, like I want to print hello, and I want to print alone, I want to print that particular n. What you do, you need to represent that here. But when you represent like this hello, and in the double string only, if you represent everything, then it become hello n rather than hello alone. In such case, you need to represent the output. In such case, you either use comma and n. When you do like this, it is gonna print hello alone. For example, I just run this particular program. It's gonna have a look at here. It had printed the hello alone with using this particular method. There are also different methods, like there is a format method in which you have to use this hello, and you have to have a flower or the braces, and to this particular string you need to add the dot format method, and in that dot format method you need to mention the n. When you mention this particular variable here, and this braces, this it is arranged into that particular hello string. Like if you added the n, this n is assigned with this particular string hello n, I mean hello alone, and this is how it works. If you want to add further, like you want to add more and more number of the variables into this particular string, then you can add multiple braces. Like here I added hello Jeff, I mean, yeah, n equal to alone and m equal to Jeff, and I added the hello and 2 braces, and here you have to mention format n comma m. In such case, it is gonna print hello alone and Jeff, and you can have I will run that particular program, and you can have a look at into that. So gonna have a look at here, we have the hello alone and the Jeff, and this is how it gonna work. And after this, to add any variables, we do the same thing. Like if I have n equal to 2, I just remove this m, and I just remove this thing. And if I have n equal to 2, and I just add 2 into this format method, it gonna print the same thing. Like here we have the 2, and if I add 2.68, like here I added 2.689999, and in this case, if you want to print only this much decimal, like 2.68, in such case you can have a new method. Like here you have to mention like this, like this is 0.2 f. If I added like this 0.2 f, it is gonna print like this is only consider f means float means the decimal number, and this 2 defines that after this particular dot you need to consider the 2 of the decimal values, and rest you need to consider everything from this left side, and you need to consider only 2 of the decimal numbers in the right direction. This particular statement dictates that particular print statement, that you need to select the 2 of the decimal numbers from the left side, from the right side, and anything from the right left side, and this is gonna work like this. I just run that particular program, and when you look into this particular thing here, you have 268.999, that become a 269, and this is how we gonna round off, or we just cut off the particular decimal number and add like this.